beliefs. Dao Mountain is a sacred space of the Taiwan people. The Taiwan people view Dao Mountain as a shared space between the sky, mortal world, and earth. Top of the mountain belongs to the sky. They believe their ancestors came to the mortal world from there and settled down to a pleasant life here. Therefore, Dao Mountains is very sacred to them. Later generations of Taiwan people still honor this belief, which shows the ancestor respect toward the land and their mythical interpretation of the environment they live in. Another Taiwan origin story featuring serpents tells of a massive bamboo which grew atop Dao Mountain in southern Taiwan. One day, the bamboo suddenly burst open and from within emerged numerous baby serpents. In time, these baby snakes grew into adults and as they grew, they transformed into humans. These became the ancestors of the Taiwan people. Hey ya ho, hey ya ho, hey ya, hey ya.
Hello, I'm Taiwanese. I'm from the Zhou tribe. I live with my community on the west side of Taiwan. Many years ago, our ancestors lived on the lowlands, in the shadow of Taiwan's tallest mountain, a mountain called Yushan or Jet Mountain. It's one of the most beautiful places you will ever see. One day, it suddenly started to rain, and it wouldn't stop raining. The rains became so strong, it started to flood the land. Everyone in the tribe had to leave the lowlands. We lived on top of the mountain for many years. But instead of hating our new home, we grew to like it on the mountain. We would hunt for food, sing and dance. Life was so great for my ancestors up there. Many generations passed. Then finally, the water disappeared. We could climb down the mountain and return to the lowlands. Our tribe separated into two clans, the Liang clan and the Wen clan. It was nice to be home, but every time we looked up at Yushan Mountain, we would miss the life our ancestors enjoyed up there. Now, every year, the Liang and Wen clans meet up for the annual Misavi ceremony. It takes place around a big kuba. This is the kuba. It's a traditional meeting house unique to our tribe. In the festival, we still pray to the mountain gods for all the food they provided to us when we were living on top of the mountain. Then we all sing songs and dance, just like our ancestors did. It fills me with such joy celebrating the past. I can't help but think. These were the exact same things my ancestors did hundreds of years ago, up there in the foothills of our Yushan or Jet Mountain.
Sun Moon Lake is located in the central part of Taiwan. The east side resembles the sun, while the west side resembles the moon. Hence the name. The area of the lake is home to the Indigenous Tao people, and there is a legend of the lake which introduces the culture and traditions of the Tao people.
Once upon a time, a community called the Thao lived in the mountains near the central part of Taiwan. The people planted corn, taro, and rice on their farmland. Sometimes they go fishing and hunting. They lived a peaceful and carefree life. On a Sunday morning, while the Thao people were working, they heard a huge sound. Boom! And the land shook violently.
Oh no, the sun is gone!
They cannot believe that the bright, shining sun had disappeared before their eyes. They cannot do anything else except help each other to find his or her way home in the middle of darkness. Fortunately, the moon came out at night and everyone could see again in the moonlight and was able to do work. Suddenly, another huge sound was heard. Boom! The houses were almost knocked down by this huge sound.
Oh no, the moon is almost gone! What are we going to do?
Everyone was so frightened, and no one knew what had caused this incident. Starting from that day, the sky did not have the sun or the moon. Darkness covered the entire world. The crops in the field gradually wilted. The fish hid in deep water. The flowers were not blooming, and animals seemed lifeless. People kept asking,
How can we live without sunlight? Without sunlight, nothing grows.
A young couple, 大间哥 and 水社姐, depended on growing corn for a living. Since the sun had disappeared, the crops had wilted, and the corn did not have golden kernels anymore. One day, 水社姐 told her husband,
If the sun does not come out immediately, everyone in the village is going to die from hunger. We need to think of a plan.
The sun and the moon must have fallen into a deep valley. Let us go and search for them.
On the second day, both of them started toward the deep forest and were determined to find the sun and the moon. Each of them held a torch and started the journey bravely. They climbed and crossed numerous mountains, rivers, and forests. They also used countless torches, but they could not find any sign of the sun and the moon. The whole world was still in darkness.
Finally, the couple arrived at the big mountain top. 水社姐 saw a dim light in front of her. She pointed to a lake opposite the mountain and said to 大间哥,
Look, there is shiny light on top of that lake. I bet the sun and the moon are in that lake.
Yes, that must be the sun and the moon. Haha, we've found them.
They ran towards the lake and discovered two fierce dragons playing with two fireballs, which were the sun and the moon.
No wonder the sun and the moon disappeared. These two dragons stole the sun and the moon to be their playthings.
大间哥 and 水社姐 were really mad. They wanted to take the sun and the moon back from the dragon, but were afraid of them. The couple sat on a big rock to think of a plan. However, they could not come up with any ideas. Suddenly, white smoke came out from under the rock that they were sitting on. 大间哥 used his strength to push the rock away. They discovered a long, deep, and narrow underground passageway.
The smoke was coming from the passageway. There is someone living beyond the passageway. Let us go check and see.
They cautiously stepped down the passageway. As the curvy passageway got deeper, the atmosphere got damper and darker. After a while, they came upon the red light of a fire. The smoke got thicker. The young couple realized that they were in a kitchen. An old white-haired woman was standing in the kitchen and cooking.
"Oh, lady, how are you?"
The old woman was surprised. She raised her head and found two young people standing in front of her. She put down her cooking pot and said,
"Oh, where did you come from? I've not seen humans for a long time. Many years ago, when I was working in the fields, the dragons captured me and brought me here. They will not let me leave this place, and they forced me to cook their meals."
The young couple told the old lady the whole story of finding the sun and the moon. The old lady shook her head and said,
"Both dragons are cruel and fierce. You cannot defeat them."
No matter what, we are going to take the sun and the moon from the dragons.
"I know. I have heard that the dragons fear the golden scissors and the golden axe, which are hidden under Ali Mountain. If you throw both items into the lake, the scissors and the axe will stop the dragons immediately. Then you can bring back the sun and the moon."
We'll find a golden axe and a golden scissor. After we stop the dragons, we'll come and save you.
大剑哥 and 水色姐 left the old lady and started toward the mountain. When they arrived at the foot of Ali Mountain, 大剑哥 and 水色姐 found two strong wooden sticks and started digging. They dug day and night. They wouldn't stop until they found the golden scissors and axe. After many days, Ali Mountain looked like a big hole. Suddenly, two shiny golden things jumped out from the ground.
They picked off the scissor and axe and immediately proceeded toward the lake. When they arrived at the lake, the dragons were playing with their fireballs. 水色姐 threw the golden scissor, which flew straight toward the first dragons and cut its body into many sections. Then 大剑哥 quickly threw the golden axe toward the other dragon. The dragon let out two horrible screams, and its head was cut off. The lake was dyed by the dragon's blood. The sun and the moon floated on the shiny red lake. After stopping the dragons, the young couple saved the old lady. However, 大剑哥 and 水色姐 faced a major problem. How were they going to send the sun and the moon back into the sky? They were very puzzled. At this time, the old lady said,
"I heard that if one ate the dragon's eyeballs, one would become very tall and very strong. After you two eat the dragon's eyeballs, you will have the strength to send the sun and the moon back to the sky."
The young couple immediately dived into the lake to search for and remove the dragon's eyeballs. After they ate the eyeballs, 大剑哥 and 水色姐 began to grow. Their heights increased inch by inch. When they got out of the water and stood on the shore, they were like two mountains. Together, the young couple held the sun and threw it into the sky with a strong force. The sun stayed in midair for a while, then fell back down. They threw the sun once more, but it fell back again. The situation with the moon was the same. The old lady yelled at the bottom of their feet,
"Children, there are two big palm trees next to the lake. Use those trees to hold the sun and the moon up."
Each of the giants bent down and grabbed a tree. They put the sun on top of the palm tree and began holding it up slowly. Slowly, the sun was raised higher and higher. After a day of hard work, the shiny red sun began to function normally in the sky. They also used the same method with the moon. When the world regained its light, the plants began to bloom and the people started to smile again. When the sun gradually finished its course, the moon started its own course in the sky. As for 大剑哥 and 水色姐, they were afraid that the dragons might return. Therefore, they stood guard beside the lake. After many years, their huge bodies eventually became two mountains. Those mountains are now called 大间阁山 and 水色节山. The lake is now called Sun Moon Lake. To show their gratitude to the young couple, the people of Tao dedicated an annual dance to the brave 大间阁 and 水色节. This dance is now called the holding ball dance. In this dance, people throw a beautiful and colorful ball into the air and then try to use a bamboo stick to hold it. This dance symbolizes the brave actions of the young couple who saved the world.